Hello everybody and welcome back to the server. As you saw, we have the replay mod back, and that's very exciting for me. I am so looking forward to being able to do a few time lapses with the time that I've got remaining. So that being said, I have been doing some work trying to get things done and beautified and just really get this base sorted out as best I can. I went ahead and made a office area, a desk similar to the one that I did down in the lower boat, and I just liked the design and thought it should come back into this one. In this space, which I've closed off with some trapdoors, is just a closet. So we've got some chests, ender chests, some barrels, just storage. There's absolutely nothing in those at the moment. And then over here we have the entryway, just decorated with some plants, some banners, and pots, some empty bookcases. I might put something in there, or I might just leave those empty. We will see. Over here we have a little meeting area with a few trinkets, a clock, a spyglass, a horn that I had found on my adventures, some cake, and some lamps. I did some armor stands to put some skulk mini blocks on top of some end rods, and I just thought those looked really cool as some lamps. And then in the upper area is where I put the bedroom, and it's nothing extravagant. We've got some additional plants up here, just trying to bring some life into some areas that I'm not sure what to do with, and I'm probably not going to think of what to do with them. And then we've got a large bed with just a sea lantern to illuminate everything here, a wall to prevent people, or to kind of block out the sun and whatnot. If you're in here sleeping, you probably wouldn't want to see that. A balcony that overlooks the massive windows. You can't really see much else from here, but that's okay. It was meant to just be something interesting to have for the master suite. We have a closet with some just random pieces of clothing. These are just dyed leather armor pieces, and empty stand right there, which is where I would anticipate I would throw my armor when I'm not wearing it, which I'm not wearing it right now. I should probably put that on before I forget and plummet to my death. And then here we have a bathroom. This could either be like a table where you're doing stuff, or a bench. I could also lower it and make it completely a bench, but I think it's fine as is. And then over here we have a tub with just additional light, some water, and just, it makes it really fancy. Continued the dark oak ceiling and floor just to keep those rich colors going, and spruce walls. I should decorate something here, but again, I'm just starting to run low on some ideas here of what to do with the time I've got remaining. The carpet was a fun addition, just gray carpet with some patterns in there just to give it some interest. And then just trying to use different types of wood and bring in as much color and whatnot that I can into the build. And then there's two other rooms on this floor, neither one that I'm going to decorate. If Baldy feels he wants to decorate this one, I've given him this one to do, so he can decorate his own room if he'd like. Obviously he has his own base, so he can do what he wants. Down here is the art gallery. These are just some of the things I found adventuring. We got an extra sniffer egg, heart of the sea, some stuff from the deep dark, a compass, chorus fruit, flower, and then paintings. Just a little planter right here just to add more color again. Putting too many paintings made it look too busy, so I cut back by putting the planters in there. More paintings, more planters, and so on. And then down here, these are all the types of armor trim that I found while I was out exploring. Obviously not the full set of all of them, but this is what I personally found, so I figured I'd put those on display. And again, these are done with armor stands, and just sinking them into the cases here and pushing the glass block on top of them. Just kind of make something cool looking, show off what we have done. The map room, I've added a few different maps. We've got over here just a couple of spots that I thought looked really interesting. There's some points of interest if I went back to them. So these would be like ones that we need to go back here and explore further, take a look at what's around. And then this one I thought was interesting because this here is a pillager outpost. And there's a village here. And what makes it more interesting, and I was running low on maps and couldn't get it all, there's a village over here and a village down here-ish. So lots of just villages surrounding that pillager outpost, which I thought was interesting. And then a treasure map. I actually have 3 versions of the same map, so I just locked a couple into place and have the third one if I wanted to go back there. I did actually dig up that treasure, so there's nothing there. And then here I found an interesting spot that had a lush cave right here in the middle where there's some axolotl. So if I wanted to go get some, I could swing over to that area and pick some up. And then of course we've got the big map just of the immediate area around around-ish the ship. Here's the ship here, and there's the rest of pretty much the world where I think most people settled. There may be some people who went really far out, but I'm not going to go get maps of everybody. And then our super zoomed out map that I tried initially, I just put that here and decided to keep that for additional decoration. A little work area for, again, working on maps. You got a blank map, some extra paper, glass panes, and our cartography table. So just trying to add a lot of interest to the area. I also added some seating over here, tables, some benches, chairs, what have you, so people could actually sit and discuss or watch or whatever's going on up here, or just get comfortable and have discussion while staring out at the light coming in during the day at least. And then over here I've actually done a little bit more work since I did that little time lapse, and I'm preparing to do the next section of the ship. And for that I wanted to finish up these hallways here, so I went ahead and added some planters. They looked incredibly plain and the lighting started to actually get a little dark in that far corner, so I figured I'd just add some life to it, and I think it looks a lot better. And finished off the other side as well. And then as far as the main area, I went ahead and played around with some lighting and just came up with some interesting pieces. I don't have a backstory for them, but thought the pearlescent frog lights with a crystal on top looked really cool, and some orange glass panes, some copper rods, and then of course we got the mangrove wood, which just has a nice rich color to it. So I thought all of that worked really well, and did some additional ones here where they're kind of encased and growing from the top and bottom, and did four of those just to illuminate these stairs and make sure that the torches were all gone. For lighting up at the front, I went ahead and put a planter on the upper section here. There's a couple of lights underneath of these moss carpets, and then just put some sniffer flowers because they just look cool. I like them a lot. And I still had an overlay on. And beyond that, I wanted to add some tables, which this will be the library area. And this first lower level is where I anticipate people would bring their books to sit, look them over, maybe have discussions or study or whatever. And then what I'm going to do is this section is going to remain, I'm going to make a circle. That's what these overlays were for, is to draw out some circles so that I could do this quickly. So I'm going to put in a lower section here, put in some stairs on the 3 different sides here, and 2 smaller stairs at the front, going up to the upper level. And this upper level is where all the bookshelves are going to go, and this lines up with the same height that we have that doorway back there leading into the front section. All of these lights, they're going to get covered up by a secondary wall. I needed to illuminate things in this gallery, and so I put all of these behind paintings, and I figured I'm just going to cover it all up, make a secondary wall. You won't see them. They won't be shining through. It won't be what it is currently. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to work on. And I've got a good amount of materials to get started. Hopefully enough, otherwise I'll have to take a break again and gather more materials. So I'm going to go ahead and get started building out this library, and we'll catch back up as soon as I'm hopefully done. And here we are. We have most of this put in place. I think I would probably like to get some more bookshelves. I did grab at least enough to finish this one section that I run out on, just to make everything match. But honestly, as I'm thinking about it, I think taking the books almost all the way to that door there, possibly all the way across that wall, basically any spot that's not going to be exposed on the backside, I should probably try and fill in with bookshelves. I could probably also pop a few here and there and put in the chiseled bookshelves. That would stretch them out a little bit without requiring me to go get more paper and make lots and lots more books and what have you. Plus it would probably look slightly better, but for the moment I think I'm just going to stick with this and worry about trying to get things finished up. So I wanted to make sure that the doorway matched, so I turned the stairs that were here to the side so that it gave it a little bit more depth, and then fed into this area back here. continued the trim all the way around and wanted to try to get at least enough illumination to remove all but a few torches in this area. I've still got the ones on top that I may have to do something about, but I may not get to those at all. So this is really at least what I wanted to get finished up is just get this library, the feel for the library, and maybe get these planters in yet as well. I started one here but ran out of moss blocks. I'll have to go get some more of those and start putting in some plants and just make it pretty in here. So that's what the plan's going to be, as well as to figure out what I'm going to do to finish off this part here, the entryway into the library, the transition from this massive doorway into the much smaller section that is the library. Still a massive library up there, but compared to this doorway, I clearly was not thinking through just how massive this would end up being, but I like it. I'm going to keep it. I just need to make everything else suit it. So a little bit more work involved there, but I think that's going to do it for the work I'm going to do in this episode as far as getting things done. I definitely want to try and get this video out a little bit sooner, and hopefully there will be one more yet this season where I can have things finished up and just kind of do basically a base tour. I think is what the next and probably final episode is going to end up being. So I'm going to continue working on stuff for sure in between now and then, and just try and get as much polish in yet that I can, which is what I've been doing, and I've been very happy with the results so far. Particularly like this whole area back here, my room, the unfinished 2 rooms there, which somebody else can fill in at some point if they so desire, or if I ever come back to this project in the future. I can always look at that, but just having this big living area back here where a lot of life could happen is, I thought this was probably the best part of the project, was getting to this end stage here, and adding the library I thought was a good touch for a ship that's meant to explore, to find things and figure out what's going on in the world. I mean, there's ruins and whatnot that we haven't even explored yet. I have yet to find a trail rune, and that could be something that this ship would go out and find those, continue collecting species, rare species like the stiffers up there. We've got a couple of lays in there, so those would count towards it. More than likely I would find a place for the axolotls, get some mushrooms, just all the really interesting mobs. I don't necessarily need like everything represented here, but I would probably fill out a lot of different areas just to complete the base. My initial thoughts had been over here in these areas, the corners. Actually, let me fly out here and I can kind of talk about what I had been thinking, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to. So these corners here, there should be a door coming in from here, and kind of a hallway following along the backside. And what I kind of figured here is I would take these open areas behind and below the library and those walls, and I can make different biomes for different creatures. So probably 4 different ones, and just line it up with the doorways coming out of my storage room. So there'd be a little bit of a walkway here and probably some entryways halfway down and on the backside too. And those would just go into glassed off areas that would represent different biomes where we could have different interesting creatures, as well as finish off this section here. So that would be cutting off probably a little bit of one of the rooms, but that's okay. We'd get everything to make sense, and just polish it off. But yeah, I had been thinking I have enough room for four of those, but I don't think I have the time to do those. So um, maybe in the future I'll do something similar to that, and get kind of. I know zoos are fairly popular for people to do, but this one would be specific to the creatures that I find personally interesting or in very unique biomes. Try and get them in here, or maybe ones that have very unique purposes. Um, like probably a turtle sanctuary would have been one of them. Mycelium section for the mushrooms would have been another. Originally, I was thinking the axolotls over there with the sniffers. I have a little pond in there. I could have um, built some water tunnels going down and then waterfalls, and underneath of there I could have had an entire like lush cave set up on the underside of the ship. But those things I'm not going to get to. I've accepted the fact that I'm pretty much reaching the end of what I can do with the time that I have, and especially as I try and focus on what's next and whatnot. And I need to load this front section of the ship. There we go. Had some hiccup or something, lost all my Bobby files, so stuff not completely loading in as it should. So yeah, so towards the front here where the sniffers are, probably just up in this section here would have been where I put the lush cave. Down here in this section I had been thinking beyond where the sheep go, probably would have been where like an iron farm would have been, working on self-sufficiency on that one. But there's a couple of iron farms I have access to, so I didn't need to focus on that. Somewhere in here, probably maybe this section, or possibly up towards the front, towards the topmost part of it, would have been villager trading, just all sorts of stuff. There's still so much room left in this ship that I could have done a lot with. But yeah, we're reaching the end, and my brain is shifting to thinking about what am I going to do next. So yeah, we'll definitely do some reminiscing, walk around the ship a little bit more in the next episode. But just thought I'd share a few of the things that I had thought about but just never got to. So that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and all the episodes prior, and I hope you'll join me for the next and probably last one, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye, everybody.